What's going on, everyone? Luca here, back with another video. Hope you're all doing well. In this one, I'm going to be talking about the state of the Toronto Raptors. As we get closer and closer to the NBA trade deadline, I will tell you what I want to see this Raptors team do moving forward. So if you guys can do me a solid favor, hit a like on the video. It does help it a ton. And please subscribe for more NBA and Raptors content. So I said that I would give you guys my opinion on what this team should do moving forward before the Raptors went on their West Coast trip, and that I will do. And I've always been completely honest with how I view this team, even though it might sometimes be the unpopular opinion. I never hold back, as you guys know. So let's get into this Raptors team and this current Raptors situation. The Toronto Raptors are 2 games back of the play-in tournament and 5 games back of the 6th spot. If you're curious, they're 9.5 games back from the worst place Rockets, as the Raptors currently have the 7th worst record in the NBA. The Raptors are coming off a week where they lost to the Bucks, who didn't have Middleton or Giannis. They blew a big lead and lost to the Timberwolves without Rudy Gobert and Karl-Anthony Towns, and lost to the Celtics on Saturday, who weren't playing Jason Tatum, and Marcus Smart got injured and missed the second half. And yes, the Raptors did beat the Knicks, but let's be real. They always beat the Knicks. That's been the one constant for the Raptors this season. For as much as I want the Raptors to dig out of this and compete, the reality is the Raptors just aren't good enough right now. The Raptors ranked 28th in the NBA in opponents' effective field goal percentage and ranked 30th in their own effective field goal percentage. Their bench has been a non-factor, they seem to have no real chemistry anymore, and this team looks broken. Something seems off about them, an opposing player who faced Toronto recently told TSN. Therefore, the Raptors need a fresh start badly. And at the deadline, they need to be sellers and not buyers. Embracing a lost season is not the worst thing in the world for this team right now. For those of you who think that's a bad idea, let's play hypothetical here for a moment. Let's say the Raptors do turn this thing around, get into the play-in tournament, get into the playoffs. In all likelihood, they would have a first-round playoff matchup against either the Celtics, 76ers, Nets, or Bucks. You aren't winning that playoff matchup. So it would be another one-and-done season for the Raptors, who would have the same questions going into the offseason. It's time to face the facts. The Raptors aren't winning an NBA championship with this core. The Raptors need to truly embrace building around Scottie Barnes. No more playing with 2 timelines. You need to choose one. Now, I want the Raptors to be sellers, but at the same time, I don't want them to force a move just for the sake of making a move. They need to be calculated with their attack. Let's now start with Gary Trent Jr. I recently saw that the Raptors have made multiple offers for Jakob Poeltl, including a 3-teamer with Gary Trent Jr. As much as Jakob Poeltl is a great rim protector and would help the Raptors, giving them a big body, this is a buyer's move, and Jakob Poeltl won't move the needle for the Raptors. He's also an unrestricted free agent this summer. The Raptors are better off keeping Gary Trent Jr., who's 24 years old, if all they can get is Jakob Poeltl. Now, how about OG Anunoby? I'm on team don't trade OG, but I recently saw something by Bruce Arthur that a mystery team reportedly has offered 3 first-round picks for OG Anunoby. Now, that could be cap, but if OG could get that type of trade package, Masai should definitely hear it out. Then the interesting players are the Raptors' 2 All-Stars, Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam. 2 players who don't fit the retooling/rebuilding timeline, and 2 players who can help contenders right now. According to NBA reporter Mark Stein, the Phoenix Suns are facing the reality that 37-year-old Chris Paul won't be around for much longer. Therefore, it's time for them to start thinking about the future of the point guard position. And Fred VanVleet is a player that's on their trade radar. And I already explained in my previous video that it makes the most sense for the Raptors to get as much value as they can for Fred VanVleet at the NBA trade deadline versus potentially losing him for nothing in free agency or paying him the estimated $30 to $35 million he's projected to get. And as far as Pascal Siakam goes, the Raptors should field phone calls for him as well and see what type of haul they can get. You know, there's going to be a lot of interest for Siakam, as a player such as Pascal Siakam could help a lot of contending teams in the immediate future. It's time for the Raptors to embrace the direction of building around Barnes, as this is Scottie Barnes' team now. So if you can give the ball to Barnes more while getting a ton of assets for Pascal Siakam, you seriously have to consider doing it. By selling this season, you commit to the tank. And as I mentioned before, the Raptors aren't too far from the bottom. And this year's draft is loaded with talent. The 2023 NBA draft has the likes of generational talents such as Victor Wembanyama and Scoot Henderson. And Raptors president Masai Ujiri has seen the presumed number 1 pick in the upcoming draft, Victor Wembanyama, play multiple times. And also, the Raptors have had their eyes on the expected 2nd pick, Scoot Henderson. I love Scoot's game, and in my perfect world, I'd love to have Barnes and Scoot play together. Now, I know by tanking, you aren't guaranteed anything, but even if the Raptors don't get a top 3 pick, the draft is still considered to be a top-heavy draft class. For as much as it's a tough pill to swallow, I'm on board for the Raptors to embrace change, and if that means missing out on the playoffs this season, then so be it. The Raptors need to take one step back, which will allow them to truly flourish in the future. I'm not interested in the Raptors to try to get aggressive at the NBA trade deadline and try to save this thing. I think we have seen now that the Raptors have hit their ceiling, and this is a team that was expected to do more good things this season than bad, and right now this has just been a very mediocre team. And for as much as I want to be optimistic that they can turn things around, I just don't see this Raptors team turning things around to the beat of making it to the 2nd round or even further than that. So for as much as I want to see the Raptors succeed right now, I think the best case scenario for this team is to see what you can get for your current core players on this team and see how much value you can bring in while keeping the main goal in mind of building around Scottie Barnes. So we will see what the Raptors ultimately do. I just gave you my take on what I want to see the Raptors do moving forward. What do you want to see the Raptors do? Do you agree with me that they should sell and embrace the lost season, or do you want them to get aggressive and save this season? I know there are a lot of mixed opinions when it comes to this type of thing, so I'd love to hear what each and every one of you have to say in the comment section down below. As I said, the Raptors are about to embark on a West Coast trip, which will begin on Wednesday night against the Kings. They will be playing the Kings, the Warriors, the Trailblazers, the Suns, the Jazz, and the Rockets, followed by the Grizzlies, which will end their West Coast trip. And ironically enough, their last game against the Grizzlies is on Sunday, February 5th, just a couple days before the NBA trade deadline. So expect a lot more trade rumors to come out over the next couple of weeks, and we'll see how the Raptors play during this West Coast trip. And based on their play, we could get the Raptors' answer on what they will ultimately do as we approach the NBA trade deadline. So that is it for me, guys. As always, thank you so much for your continued support. Hit a like and subscribe on your way out. This is Luca signing off, and I'll catch you all again in the next video.